What's going on? What's going on? This your boy Hollywood Bonner.
And it is your boy, the infamous Black Caesar.
And this is Can We Talk broadcast show. And on this episode, this is going to be a real good episode. I know we kind of mentioned it on the last episode, but we had to talk about it. We had to touch on the topic because it's kind of like a serious topic, but it's also something that we have to talk about, and it's mental health, like mental health for men, really, and really our own experience and our really outlook of mental health. So, you know, we had to go on to talk about it because we went through it. We currently still go through it, and it's something that a lot of people go through, especially for men that go through but really don't know what's going on as far as
Absolutely.
like their mental state of mindset, really. So yeah, let's go ahead and talk about this mental health. So Perry, as far as like mental health, when do you realize as far as like you was dealing with some type of mental health? What before you answer that, my bad, I ain't trying to cut you off. Before you answer that, when did you actually know what mental health was?
I didn't know what mental health was, or I didn't know the state of my mental health until last year. Literally last year. Me and my wife would hit a rocky patch last year, and that rocky patch kind of led to us talking about a lot of things and being more personal with each other as far as like what we think, how we feel, and unfortunately I had to experience myself, and I had to notice myself that there was some form of a mental issue, not a disorder. It's a difference between a disorder and, you know, you just having mental problems. But a lot of mine, of course, stem from childhood, right? So this is a lot of unresolved issues, I would say, that I had to deal with at year 5 of my marriage. So I literally just found out about it last year. Now, I'm not going to say found out about it, but I had to confront it last year. Excuse me. These are things that I never wanted to talk about, things that I just wanted to, you know, leave alone. And unfortunately, when you do that, when you suppress it, eventually it's gonna be just like pop. You shake up a pop bottle for too long, it's gonna bust open. So so you know, I had to confront it last year, and I had to call it for what it was, and I had to deal with all of those emotions. I had to deal with the feeling of being vulnerable for the first time, for real. I had to let go all of those manhood stigmas for some odd reason that we think we have, all that alpha mentality, all of that BS. You know, I had to confront all of that last year. So that's when I realized within myself that I had some mental things going on.
Right. Okay, yeah. I mean, I kind of did around last year, you know, was the same time for me too. But, you know, I did hear what you said, something about like childhood, you know, kind of childhood drama. When I was a kid or growing up, and me just think about it, I never knew what mental health was. I always thought mental health was like, I mean, not trying to say it like this, but you know, when somebody like kind of crazy, or you know, they don't have they mental to what's the word? Basically, they ain't got the. It's not all the way there, where
they have
you
mental
know
capacity.
Like you know, they kind of disabled in a mentally way. So that's why I always thought basically that was mental health. And you know, growing up, you couldn't really say I have a mental health issue. You know, most people would kind of look at you kind of crazy, and I mean, and that's till this day too, because if you call, I mean, like now it's starting to be more aware, and they starting to do different things. They got, mental, programs, mental different things that's out there, and mental awareness is starting to be more popular now. But still, as a man, you can't really, sometimes you don't feel comfortable telling like your homeboys, your friends, like, man, I really got a mental health issue. Like I'm really dealing like mentally, I'm dealing with a lot of stuff, and I really don't know what's going on with me. I don't know if it's like depressed, like I'm depressed, I'm mentally ill. I don't know, because when you dealing with mental health, you go through so many emotions, and also I really think a lot of mental issues come from you being in your childhood.
Yes.
And you not really realizing that, like you kind of said, you suppress all those feelings, all those thinking, like, thoughts that you had, and you suppress those. And like you said, one day you just kind of boom, like a bomb, and you just like a ticking time bomb, and you really don't know how to really deal with those type of emotions when you kind of blow up.
See, the thing is about that, what I noticed how can I put this? This is what I kind of realized. I want to start off by saying this with my kids, right? Especially my boys, but my kids. I had to think about this. It's a saying that I say now, and it's room. Well, what I say is room for expression will bring room for correction, right? So for a lot of people, they don't like for their kids to express themselves. We live in a black household. This is going to be real. If you was 19 years old, your mom whoop you, tell her you feel upset that you got whooping, what will happen? You get another one. It just flat out. You just right. Get whooping again. So for me, I take a different approach, because of course I grew up under that. My mom was, she's about that. She had 8 boys, 1 girl. So for her, she had to be tough. She had to be a little hard. I mean, so for us, if I was to tell her I'm upset about something, it's more of, you have no right to be upset. You don't do this, and so I take a different approach for my kids, and my approach literally is I let them express themselves, because I'm going to tell you where you're wrong at, right? So taking that, after I take that approach, a lot of that came from the fact that I wish I had somebody to let me express myself. You see what I'm saying? Right. Because if you allow your kids to express themselves, they'll be a lot more open with you. And it's not just, I'm upset because you gave me whooping. Over half the time, it's, your kids may be holding something that's a real serious issue that they just not comfortable with telling you about. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
So then they grow up holding this stuff in, and nothing goes about. And then you have these men out here who claim they're alpha men. Boys don't cry. Boys don't feel sad. You grow up believing this. Your friends, my friends, we all believe in this, to the point where now we can't really communicate with our people, our spouses. And we go around upset, and we have to deal with it ourselves. We can't share because we will feel soft. And I found out that they said that black men now, as far as depression goes, black men's suicide rates have went up. A lot of these are dealing with, because we have issues that we cannot talk about. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
So, like I said, I take that approach with my kids, and I'm hoping that it works. I'm pretty sure it will, because that just shows love and correction at the end of the day. So a lot of this comes from having no real father in the house, and then it comes from not being able to express yourself. You see what I'm saying? So we have nobody to turn to with all of our emotions that we have.
Right. And basically, like you were saying, like, it's us. I mean, it's up to us to kind of, change, like, the direction on how we talk to our kids and how we express, or how we have them to express their feelings to us nowadays. Because when we was growing up, like I said, mental awareness wasn't as popular that it is now. So when we was growing up, we didn't really, not saying that it's our parents' fault or whatever and stuff, but we didn't really know how to express ourselves. And like you said, we was told to, man, like, boys don't cry. Like you said, boys, you cry, you being a girl, you being soft, you being, you being this and you being that. So, we already growing up with that pressure on our shoulders. And let me ask you something.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think having like all these type of responsibilities add on to your mental healthness, like, add on, like, weigh on you a little bit more, as far as like, you being a husband, you gotta provide, you gotta make sure that your kids straight, make sure that your wife straight, make sure that your family straight. Do you think that, like, because like, all honestly, and I was thinking about this, I know women, all praises to women, they deal with a lot too. They the ones that, most likely the kids run to them, as far as like that. But they're the ones that's caring. They're the ones that kind of keep the house together, keep everything. So they have a lot of responsibilities too. But do you kind of feel like men that have like these roles, these alpha roles, or we put in these roles as far as like being the head of the house, add to like that pressure of, that mental health, kind of.
It does. It's like, okay. So I could say, I've told a lot of my friends this, right? To me, it's already one step when you go from like boyfriend, girlfriend to being a father to being a husband, right? Mm. There's a different level of responsibilities. That's like, I don't crap on nobody who's not married or whatever.
Right.
But I've always said this, like, a man who's not married, you will never really understand the pressures of being a husband, right? Because technically, you're a boyfriend, you going about your day. If you want to leave the house, you can. But I'm legally bound to my wife, right? Mm-hmm. I cannot go nowhere. If I do try to leave, that's a whole nother fight with a divorce, right?
Right.
So you take your childhood mess that you never brought up. You take all of your feelings, right? You already got that suppressed down. So now you come into an adulthood. Now you come into a wife and you got kids. Now you got to worry about bills. Now you got to worry about if your kids are straight. You got to worry about if your wife is straight. Then not only that, not just financially, emotionally, you have to make sure everybody else is okay. All while trying to make sure you're mentally okay. That's a lot. That's a lot to deal with. You see what I'm saying? So I feel that, of course, you taking on your roles and responsibilities as a husband and as a father, that's going to add more weight. First off, it's supposed to. This is a different type of job now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I think the problem is, it's not adding on fatherhood or marriage life. It's more about confronting your past. You cannot, if you got too much baggage on you, you cannot expect to live a good, decent life as a husband or a father. You can't do it, because eventually what you went through in your past is going to seep into your household. You know what I'm saying? So those things that a lot of people say, I wish my dad was there. I wish my dad did this. I wish my dad did this. you're still dealing with all of those emotions. Eventually, you're going to be just like your dad. I've seen
Right.
I've seen
Yeah.
it. You see what I'm saying? It's going to seep into your life until you do it, until you handle it. They say, what they say? They said, history that is not learned is bound to repeat itself. And that's true. You're going to be exactly what you say you don't want. Like, I noticed within myself, my ways I grew up in, the way I thought, I hated it. I hated the way I grew up. But for some odd reason, when I came into adulthood, when I came into being a father, those same ways were seeping into my household. And I'm thinking, why is things going the way it is? But the whole time it's, you got unresolved issues that you are not letting go. So since you can't let it go, you're going to mentally do the same exact thing. So yeah, it's fatherhood and adulthood and marriage. It just brings on new weight. Is the problem is, like I said, just letting go of your, not letting go, but dealing with what you went through.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. Hey, I totally agree. I really do, because I mean, like, sometimes for me personally and stuff, I'll be like, man, I just really need a mental break, and I just really need a break from like everything, as far as like, you know, a break from my job, you know, from people, from just really everything, just like, so I can kind of get my mind at ease. Like I said, you know, kind of going back to, you know, beginning, like last year, I'm not gonna say, or I will say, I think I probably had a mental breakdown last year. You know, honestly, I think I probably had a mental breakdown. Like, you know, I was going through so many emotions at a, you know, rapid emotions and stuff. I was like mentally dead, like mentally drained, where I just didn't care anymore. And I didn't get to the point, like, you know, I got to the point, like, you know, of thinking like, maybe I should just end it. You know what I'm saying? You know, and I had to really just really get my mind back together, because you could be at war with yourself and with your mind, you know, and, you know, like going from like, you know, like a church standpoint of it, you know, a spiritual warfare, you know, and your mind, you know, like you have a whole war and a whole battle going through in your mind. Like, you know, you feeling this way, you feeling that way. It's like a mind pulling you in so many different ways that you can't even concentrate. You can't even focus. You can't even focus on one thing, because your mind is wandering on 10 other things.
Exactly. Exactly. 100% true. That's 100% true. You know, I had to get therapy. Now that is blasphemy in the Black household, and I don't know why. I honestly don't. I don't know why. Like, it is, they make it seem like only white people. Well, fact is, only white people do go to therapy. That's 100% facts. But I went to therapy last year, and the thing is, I went to therapy. I had Pastor J.B. McCall, really, really good guy, right? He went through something similar that I went through. You know, we went through the same similar thing. He's a black guy. So now I get to see, not only is he black, but he's a little older. So now I get to hear somebody who went through what I went through, and, you know, just learn. And, you know, so I remember I went, it felt so weird, 100%, right? Because it's like, man, I don't know you from a can of paint, bro. Like, you know, I can't go around here telling you my business like that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And one day he said to me, and it's like kind of clicked, you know, and this is a spiritual thing. This is a pastor. He literally told me, and it's crazy how I still think about this. It was like, from a spiritual standpoint, and let this be wisdom for a lot of people, that God is all knowing, 100%. He know everything. He knew when he created Adam and Eve, he knew you. He said, if you think he knew you already, shouldn't you know that he knew your bloodline? So if he knew your bloodline, he already knew what you were going to go through. So what he's saying is, at that moment for me, it's best to let it go. It's best to talk about it. It's best to deal with it, because at the end of the day, God allowed you to come through that. He blessed you to come through that. And he was like, you look where you are and look at your past. Look at your family. Look at those who did you wrong. Where are they at? But where are you at? There's a difference between the two. And so that kind of helped me get my mind in motion a little bit. Like, okay, now I can just start, dropping some of this dead weight, because at the end of the day, it's not conducive to me.
Yeah.
I'm going to continue to do the things that I don't want to do. I'm going to continue walk around mad. I'm going to continue walk around upset. I'm going to continue, this may sound crazy, but we do this. I'm going to continue pushing this anger off to my own family. And I love them. I love them with my life. But because I'm still dealing with my childhood problems, I'm pushing this hate off to y'all. I can't be this husband that I really want to be, because I'm still upset about my father. You see what I'm saying? I'm still upset about how he did things. And it's once he put that in my mind, like, God knew what you were already going to go through.
Right.
Once that kind of clicked a little bit, then I'm like, okay, I can start for some form of change at this point. But like I said, it took a little second for me to open up. But I'll say, black men, black women, go to therapy. We need therapy. That's just what it is. Like, for one, not to bring slavery up, but we went from slavery to having to live a regular life. What make you think we don't need therapy? Why do you think to this day we still have this slave mentality? That's because we never went to therapy. We never decompressed from what our ancestors went through. That's why we can't walk past a white person to look at a white person as genuine. We look at them as racist. That's because you still dealing with your history, your ancestors, that people will say. You're still dealing with what they went through. You see what I'm saying? So if you're still dealing with that, just imagine what you're still going through that was just 10 years ago. For me, 15 years ago. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So, it's go to therapy. We need it. That's something we need to invest in. We spend all this money on food and nonsense, but you can't spend $100 on the therapy session.
Yeah. Do you think, I have a question. Do you think, as far as like a man's standpoint, do you think that man is embarrassed to say, I need help? Like yes. Help, like mentally, I need help, or I need a therapist, or I need to talk to somebody? Do you think like most men feel that type of way, that they kind of ashamed or afraid of what people might think if they say, I need help? Like, you know.
Of course, I think that's just going from my own problems. I was I was afraid to tell my wife, me. I was afraid to tell my wife how I truly felt. Why would I tell her I need help? If I thought she was gonna look at me as weak and not want to follow me and not want to love me as a husband, right? Just telling her regular things, why would I tell her I need help? We're conditioned this way. You see what I'm saying? This is why we're conditioned this way. And unfortunately, that's that alpha male mentality. I argue with that all the time. To me, and I'm going to say this, any man who you hear say, oh, I'm an alpha male, you weak. That's just what it is. You're mentally weak. You see what I'm saying? Like, it takes a strong person to, and this is just anybody, but especially for a male, knowing that we're in a dominant role, that the house really stands on us. Right. I know people like to say, well, the women build the house. That's not necessarily true. We're the patriarchs. We made the house, and the house have to stand on us, but the women just multiply the house, if that makes sense. Right. And that's not demeaning what they do, because of course our wives, we need them, but as a man, as a protector, as a lover, as a pastor of the house,
Yeah.
you don't always you don't always have to go to the pastor at the church. You are the pastor in your house. You are the high priest in your home. So spiritually, you have to be over every soul in your house. You have to protect them spiritually, financially, emotionally, mentally. You have to do those things. So thinking about that, it's like, oh, why would I say I need help? That's hard to do. It's really hard to do.
Yeah. And I mean, like, needing help. Okay. Needing help and asking for help, it'd be like two different things. You need help, but you don't want to ask for help, and it is, even talking to like your wife, like, my wife, your wife or whatever, or just anybody that's out there listening that got a wife or girlfriend, whatever and stuff, you're going through some mental things, and it is seem like kind of, I guess, scary, or in a sense of you talking to, or opening up that way, because you don't want nobody to judge you. You don't want nobody to make you feel like how you feeling, or make you feel crazy, or make you feel like something is wrong with you. So and I think that would go through like with anybody, woman or man, kid, child, older person, whatever and stuff, that's deal with it and try to keep it suppressed, is because I feel like they don't want anybody to know or to judge them as a person. But as far as like, my bad, leg was itching. My bad. But as far as like your situation goes, how did you kind of? I mean, I ain't saying that you overcame everything, but what are you doing as far as like steps to the healing process, and trying, what steps that you are taking to make you go to the next step, or make you get past what you dealing with as far as mentally,
So I want to say first and foremost, hurt people, right? So regardless of what people want to say, you've been through a form of hurt, eventually you're going to pass that hurt on unintentionally to somebody else. Now, you do got some psychos out there who would do it on purpose.
I was about to say, some people would do it on purpose.
Some people.
A lot of people would do it on purpose.
And that's a childish way to go about it. But at the same time, of course, that's how they cope. If I went through it, then the next person gonna go through it, because the last person got to pay for what you didn't do. See, that's crazy. That's 100% crazy. But taking that, my very first step was literally like apologizing to my family. I had to come as a man. I had to come to my wife and apologize for everything. I had to be open and honest with everything. So with that, that was my first step. Of course, I'm Christian, so I read my Bible every day. You know what I'm saying? I try to have some form of contact with God, because at the end of the day, He is who's leading me, and I'm leading my house. So staying in the Word and being open, being honest, being transparent with my wife, that's kind of what keeps me on the road, because I understand within me, I'm a thinker. I'm just like my daddy. I'm a thinker. I can think just one wrong thought about myself, and every progress that I've made is all going downhill. Just because I thought one bad thing about myself. You know what I'm saying? So I'm learning to decipher when this is Satan talking or when it's just me. Because if it's just me, I can correct myself. And with that, both of it, I just turn straight to the scripture. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, like I said, just being open and honest. Still seeking knowledge, of course, and just like I said, just being able to be vulnerable with my wife. You know what I'm saying, and not feel anything bad about it. I say.
Okay. Yeah. Basically for me, as far as like me healing or overcoming or pushing through the mental health, basically, there was a couple of things that I did. For one, the first thing that I actually just sit and think, and I recognize I have an issue. I have a problem. Like, I'm actually going through something, and I think that's the first thing to really recognize that you actually dealing with something or going through something. Because most times you might be like, I got the word in my head, in denial. There we go.
Yeah.
I knew the word. I just had to think about it. But most times you be in denial that there's nothing wrong with you, but and you wonder why you having all these different type of emotions, and you thinking a certain type of way on things, or you blowing up, or you spazzing out, and what's the name? So it took me to actually sit down and realize, like, bro, like hold on, take a step back.
Yeah,
I am actually going through something. So once I recognize that I'm actually going through something, and I wasn't feeling the way that I know I'm supposed to be, and then when I got to the point where I just didn't care, I think that's like a scary part. You know, if you ever get to the point where you just don't care no more about anything, family, life, kids, whatever and stuff. If you get to that point, what's the name? You are in a bad place. Yeah, because I've been there. Trust me, I've been there. I know I keep a smile on my face, but I've been there.
We told y'all we experienced some stuff within the past year. Yeah, 100%. This everything is not peaches and cream, of course. You know, so you just take the good with the bad, and you know.
Yeah, and and basically like this, you see me now talking, I smile and stuff. I always try to keep a smile on my face, but it was times where I didn't even want to smile. I had to fake it sometimes. Me going to work, I'm faking it, and deep down inside, I remember some days at work where I went on lunch and I had to leave. Like, I drove around and I'm crying. I'm like, bro, why is I'm crying? Why is I'm feeling this way? What's the name? Because like I was just like mentally torn. I was mentally torn. So, but basically, going back to like the steps, I had to recognize, that I had an issue. Then once I recognized that, then I got into the Word, talked to God, had God, talk to God and really asking to help me out. Then I was talking to my mother-in-law. She evangelist and everything. She helped me out talking to people. But one day it just clicked. One day it clicked on me, and I had to I said, I'm taking my mind back. I'm the only way for me to actually reach the future that I want to see. I have to take my mind back, because if I can't get my mind, I can't accomplish anything that I want to accomplish.
Exactly.
So, and I called my wife and I told her this. I told her everything. I said, you know what? Today's the day. This is the last of the last. And I'm not saying that I don't go through stuff now, but it's like I'm able to kind of recognize and deal with it a lot better now. Yep. But that day I called her. I told her. I said, hey, this is the last day that I'm really feeling like this, because it's so many things. And this was before I even graduated. Too. So, and this was last year, so this is before I graduated college. So yeah, I said the only way for me to actually reach my full potential and me be the man that I know I can be, I have to take my mind back. Because if I ain't got my mind, I ain't got my body. If I ain't got my body, I'm lifeless, basically.
Exactly.
So I'm just walking. I'm just walking around lifeless without me, mindless. I'm gonna call it mindless. I have life in my body, so mindless. Let me say that. It's a better phrase. I want word to use, but for me, so I took that, and every day I looked up motivation videos, like videos on positive thinking, videos of positive, keeping my mind motivated, keeping me moving forward. I did this every day, and I still listen to motivation videos, E.T., Les Brown, and all
E.T. is my favorite, boy.
Eric he Thomas? Be going in though. Oh, yeah,
man, he be going in. Boy, that's my favorite right there. That's my favorite right there.
But yeah, I'm listening to all these people just trying to keep myself pushing. And like, okay, the first day I did it, it was a little hard. Second day got a little easier. Third day got easier. Fourth day, y'all kind of get what I'm kind of doing.
Repetitive, exactly.
Each day, like my mother-in-law told me, she said it takes 7 days to build a habit. So after the 7th day, I'm doing this every day. Every time I go to, I drive to work, I listen to something positive. I'm at work. Well, when I was working at Walmart, I had my headphones in. I'm listening to something positive, and that kind of helped me. And also, this, tell yourself in the mirror sometimes. You gotta be like, one thing that I do, and one of my favorite movies is Baby Boy, and that scene when he told him how many millions you got on you. I tell myself like that. How many millions you got on you? I see at least 10. So if I see at least 10, that means that means that I haven't reached my 10 million yet. At least my 10 million. I at least see 10 million on me. So
exactly.
By the time I reach that 10 million and stuff, then okay. Then I'm, then I gotta push farther, 15 million, whatever. But if I ain't got 10 million right now and stuff, hey, I'm not doing enough, or I gotta keep going. I gotta keep pushing myself. Just telling yourself small little things to tell yourself. Just to keep you moving forward. But I'm just I ain't trying to push this too long or whatever.
Oh, no. Tell it what it is.
But yeah, just doing stuff like that kind of helped me and push me. And like I said, every day, weeks went by, I started feeling better. I started saying, I have bad days. Some days were bad days, and that's gonna happen. You're gonna have your good days, you're gonna have a bad day. But you can't let that bad day dictate that next day.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So that's what I've been doing. I always, that's kind of like my philosophy now. Move forward, keep pushing, and really don't give up. Because if you're not where you supposed to be and where you see yourself, like, I still haven't tapped into my full potential as a man. And I got to keep going until I tap into that man that, I ain't there yet. I still, so yeah, that's kind of like, basically my little healing journey. I'm still on my healing journey. I'm still every day.
Yeah, we all are.
Every day you go through something. Every day you got to push through every day. If it's something that you can't push through, then talk to somebody. Like you said, go to therapy. Ain't nothing wrong with going to therapy. Ain't nothing wrong for just picking up the phone and calling somebody that you could talk to. And please pick somebody that don't go out and tell your business. That's, what's the name?
Man, look, that's it. No, for real. You know what? I actually, we don't want to make the show too long, but I'm glad you said that because it's kind of confirmation to me. I read my Bible a lot. If y'all ain't got the Bible app, please get the Bible app. But one of the devotions, it was like 2 or 3 days ago. One of the devotions was talking about finding like-minded individuals who won't go and tell your business. Right, and the subject was pretty much about how Paul in the Bible says that I don't come to nobody with my problems but God. Right, and there's nothing wrong with that, 100%. But in today's time, a lot of us are not hearing from God. We're too busy in our own heads to where we can't hear it. So like you said, finding the right people around you that won't tell your business. I personally need to do that, because my thing is, I feel like this. If I'm starting to notice who gossips, I'm starting to know who talk about who, because eventually you get caught up. In
right.
And if you're conversing with somebody who's doing that, just imagine what they're doing with you. You see what I'm saying? So you gotta watch that. You see what I'm saying? So I'm learning that myself. Right now, the only person I go to is my wife because I know she ain't telling nobody. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And if it get out, I know who said what. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So
Yeah, Tierra just told me this actually yesterday about you, bitch. Nah,
But yeah, that's 100% true. You find somebody to talk to. You know, you got to start deflating yourself. You see what I'm saying? So 100%.
Hey, yeah. So I mean, like I said, I ain't no therapist. You know, I try to listen. You know, I ain't no therapist, but like I say, do what you need to do to try to get your mind back. Do what
Absolutely.
you need to do to win this battle. And like I said, the only thing, like I tell my wife, you know, I can't do it for you. You have to do it, and you got to talk to God. And like I said, I don't know if everybody Christian or Muslim, whatever and stuff, whoever that you praise to, what's the name? You have to talk to. You know,
I don't care if it's a blade of grass.
Right.
if you worship that blade of grass, go do that. You know what I'm saying?
For me, my like I said, my mother-in-law, she told me, write to God. Write to God. You know, what's the name? Tell him what's on your mind that day. You know, write a letter to him. So that's what I do. You know, it's something that really bothered me, or you know, something that, you know, I just need to say, and I can't talk to nobody about it. Right? You know, just buy you a little notepad and just write to God. Write to God. Write to God. Or if you're not spiritual or whatever and stuff, then write to yourself.
Exactly.
You know, so you know, when you write, you kind of get everything out that you going through. You know, what you thinking, whatever, you get everything out on that piece of paper. Then, you know, and actually I went to one therapy session with my wife.
Oh,
and
did you?
You know, yeah, we went to one. Just one session, and she did kind of told us the same type of technique, but with her technique, she was saying, if you angry or whatever, if you angry, you upset, you mad, write it all down, write the cuss words down, write everything down, and rip it up. You do it, and you still angry, write it down, keep writing, you know, writing down, rip it up. So, you know,
that's a different approach. I will have to work on that.
Yeah, like
because I'm about to say it. If I'm upset, I'm about to say it.
Right, you want to say you bring your mama. You know what's? I'm tired. You know what's?
Nah, I get to write it down. It's like, well, I'm writing down. I'm finna say it. I'm not about to write this down.
But you know, I guess she basically was saying, like, you know, you write it down, and basically once you get it off your chest for writing it down and stuff, and you rip it up or ball it up or burn it up or whatever you got to do, whatever and stuff, it should start feeling better, like, you know, over time, you know. And if you keep writing it down and stuff, eventually you'll get tired of feeling that way, or tired of writing, and like, you know what, why I'm mad about this, or why I feel this way, and I'm tired of keep writing down the same stuff. But if you keep feeling this, if you keep feeling the same way, keep writing it down, because eventually you gonna get tired of writing it down, and then you be like, I'm just tired of writing it down, really, and I'm tired of feeling this way. So two and two, boom, 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 boom. But yeah, Black Caesar, you know what? You know, this show has been going on for a little bit longer than what we expected, but you know what? You know, it's that time, so you go ahead and take us home.
All right, I'll take us out. All right, so check this out. I hope y'all enjoyed this podcast. I hope y'all take something from it. Like I said, this is Can We Talk broadcast. This is why we changed our name. We got to talk about real things now. You know, we've experienced some things. Like I said just last time, we experienced a lot. So Bible says that when you deal with tribulations will bring forth patience, and patience will bring triumph eventually. So once you get the ball rolling, you'll realize, like, you know, you came a long way. You see what I'm saying? So I want to encourage a lot of people. Well, for the Christians, I want to encourage y'all, you know, whatever you went through, childhood trauma you went through, your dog dying, somebody kick your bowl of cereal over, and you kind of upset, you know, stay in your word. You know, that's the best thing I can say. The word has really helped me. I don't want to push it off too further, but I've read the whole book of Job. I tell anybody, you went through some form of hurt, wherever go, read the book of Job. That's the best thing I can say. Because not only do you experience somebody who went through pain, who went through tribulation, who went through questioning God, but you also see where God had to step in and talk. And in this point, you see where God begins to say who He is and what He do. You see what I'm saying? So I encourage anybody to go read the book of Job, but continue to watch us. Continue to like, comment, and subscribe. We hope you guys enjoy. Please don't forget to share and download our content, and we'll keep bringing y'all more heat, more fire. This episode may seem like a little Debbie Downer, but hopefully we get you guys to think, man, you need to start going to therapy. Stop being upset and let some of this pain up off your chest, and let's just start progressing as Black people.
All right, like I said before, I ain't got nothing to say. The man said it all. Hey, he said it all. So this is your boy Hollywood Bonner,
and it is the infamous Black Caesar.
And I guess we catch y'all on the next one. Oh well, you know what? I ain't gonna say that. You better be there.
Be there.
I'm tired of playing games with y'all.
Y'all gotta be there. Y'all gotta be there. Y'all got no choice.
Good shows to come, and this is the topic that we needed to talk about anyway. It's something that we wanted to talk about. So, all right, I guess we catch you on the next one.
All right, peace.